Hello and welcome to the Podquest of Bread. My name is Henry Conley. Tonight I want to talk about voting, and really with 22 days to go until the election, and with everything going on, I felt that right now was the most pertinent time to do this episode. I was going to wait till a little closer to the actual election, but one of my favorite podcasters and honest inspiration, Bo of the Fifth Column, decided to do one kind of talking to conservatives. And I would be amiss if I didn't say that when I get to that point in this episode, some of what I'm going to say is inspired and or taken from what Bo said today speaking to conservatives. Now, what I wanted to do with this episode, and there will be a follow-up episode for other key races throughout the country, is I wanted to speak to each of the candidates. And if I was to touch on every single candidate there is, this podcast episode would be insanely long and it would be absolutely ridiculous. So what I decided to do is take the top 4 candidates plus an independent and kind of speak to each one of them and why you would vote that way and what you might be concerned with when it comes to voting for one of those 5 candidates. And then I want to speak on protest voting because that is something that is going to be a key player in this year's election. So the first thing, again, 22 days until the election. An election that will probably be the most contested election in U.S. history, an election that will start a very tumultuous time for this country and for the people that live in it. So first, of course, we're just going to start from the top with the incumbent and Donald Trump. Why you might vote for him, what background you might come from, why you might lean that way, and what might cause you to consider Donald Trump to be the one that you cast your vote for. You might vote for him because you like someone with a loud and dominant personality. Someone who is able to effectively capture the spotlight no matter what they say or no matter what they do. You might also be someone that could care less about political norms. You might be someone that finds political norms to be absolutely repugnant. And Donald Trump would be the exact candidate for you for that. Another possibility, and this one's one that I've become very, very adamant about. In fact, I feel very strongly about this point, and it is that Donald Trump speaks the racist feelings you have deep down inside of you, the ones that you refuse to say out loud, the ones you're scared to say out loud. He speaks them, whether bluntly or candidly or veiled behind some sort of cloak. He speaks them, and you resonate with that. And if that's you're going to support him. He has a cult of personality that you agree with, or you may not mind fascism or authoritarian rule as long as the name is Trump. Now, what background might you come from that you are going to cast your vote for Donald Trump? You might be white. You probably are. You're probably a man. You might be a white woman raised in the South. In fact, you're probably from the South or come from a deeply conservative family who has always believed that the Republicans are the conservative party, that they are the face of conservatism in the United States of America. As I'm going to touch on in a moment, that is not necessarily the case. Another reason you might vote for Trump is because you believe in small government, which again, in a minute, I will touch on it. It's not the case. Those points are points that I will borrow from Bo. Those are points that I will expand on from Bo. Now, Joe Biden, why might you be voting for him? Now, mind you, these are talking about people that adamantly support these people. These are people that are voting for them, that are excited to vote for him. I'm not talking about protest votes right now. We're going to talk about protest votes at the end of this. Why might you be voting for Joe Biden? You're comfortable with the political norm. You want to get back to that political norm that was existent during Bill Clinton's presidency, during George Bush's presidency, and during Obama's presidency. You want to get back to that stability. that you are used to. You're a staunch Democrat, and you think that anybody with a D behind their name, they're for you. You're willing to turn a blind eye to things Trump is doing if the person doing it has a D behind their name. I'm going to quick reference a meme that I've seen out there that I really like, and it's a meme of a family in Afghanistan being bombed by a drone. And as the bomb's being dropped, it's captioned as saying, "It's okay, these ones are coming from Biden." That norm is what you're looking for. You are liberal in your politics, and liberal politics are your style. You respect that, you recognize that, and you value that. You're not a leftist. You recognize that also. You recognize that you're a centrist or center-right. And a last bit, you might not be looking to push the envelope too far left or too far right. You kind of want to balance it right in the middle. Who might you be if you're voting for Joe Biden? More than likely, you were raised in a, and I hate to put it this way, a highly educated family that comes from the suburbs, the inner city, or somewhere around there. You may be of minority, and you were raised in this idea that the Democrats speak for you. You don't mind big government. You don't mind, enormous spending on government programs. These are the type of people that are going to go for Joe Biden. People that look at these different stances that Joe Biden takes, and they feel comfortable for you. They feel like a welcome home. Now, those are the two major party candidates. Those are the duopoly candidates, as you've heard me say on this podcast many times. But there's other candidates to talk about. The first I would have to talk on is going to be Jo Jorgensen. And if anybody doesn't know who she is the libertarian choice for president. She is who the libertarians have pegged to be the presidential nominee for their party. Who might you be if you're voting for Jo Jorgensen? Well, more than likely, you want true conservative government. You want true small government. You're seeking to remove regulation from the system. You want to expand the rights of the capitalist class. You want to expand the ability for small businesses to operate within the system, while simultaneously also creating a very dangerous situation where big businesses can also gain more power. You are probably someone that stands against any type of government intervention in any foreign country. You are someone that probably stands against any government intervention in most stuff in the United States. You are someone who wants gun laws to reflect the Second Amendment bluntly, without any type of regulation. Beyond that, you are probably someone who refuses to participate in the two-party system, and you seek to have an academic in the White House. You've seen the 4 years of Donald Trump. You've seen 4 years of a failed business person, and you want someone who's actually going to successfully carry out the ideas. That's who you're voting for. That's why you're voting for her. Who might you be? You are probably someone who was formerly in the Republican Party. You were probably someone that became disenfranchised with the Republican Party. And going from what I know from when I was in the Libertarian Party, you most likely came into the Libertarian Party during Gary Johnson's second run. You recognized that Donald Trump was the worst choice the Republican Party could have ever made. You sought out a safe home, and the Libertarian Party was that home for you. You have stuck with your conservative values. You have stuck with everything you believed in the Republican Party, but you found the true conservative small government talk of the Libertarian Party to be absolutely amazing to you. And that's why you're going there. The next candidate is one that is one of the least known, but should also be talked about. And though the candidate, there's a lot of questions with how he was able to gain the nomination. He does speak very good policy ideas. I will give him this. Mind you, I didn't say this at the beginning, but this, as I say with every time I'm talking about a candidate or any type of presidential candidate, these are not endorsements of them. I am keeping my true vote hidden right close to me. There's no point you knowing who I'm voting for. And that would be Howie Hawkins, the Green Party candidate. Why would you vote for Howie Hawkins? Now, you're probably someone who's got environmental issues at the forefront of your mind. Social justice issues matter to you. You're a principled leftist seeking to push the message and the envelope to the true left. You want worker-centric workplaces. You want policy to reflect the humanity-driven aspect. And the Green Party does a very good job at this. They highlight environmental issues, things that will kill the human population over time. The Green Party is very good at recognizing climate change. The Green Party is very good at recognizing the disparity in pay between men and women, between minorities and whites. They are very good at recognizing all of the social justice issues that generally the left stands for. Right now, with how all these candidates played out, the true left has been flocking to Howie Hawkins. This would not have happened if Bernie Sanders was the presidential nominee for the Democrats. And I will bluntly say it right now. If Bernie Sanders was the nominee, I would be endorsing him right now on the podcast. But Howie Hawkins has been the welcome source of relief there. Now, who are you if you're going to vote for this? Generally, where do you probably come from? You're probably a former Democrat who grew tired of the party not embracing socialist ideas, who grew tired of the party not really recognizing science-backed climate change, who grew tired of the party trying to distance themselves from the true left and more, stay centrist / drag in some of the moderate Republicans. That's where you are. That's why you're probably going to vote for the Green Party. Now, talk about an independent. And this independent was on my podcast. I love the dude. He is an amazing person. And that would be Mark Charles. Why are you voting for him? You want a true independent voice. You want someone that's not guided by party, not guided by party platforms, and really has no one controlling him. You value the voice of the indigenous people. You recognize the indigenous people had their land stolen from them, and you want a candidate that recognizes the indigenous people of the United States. Today is Indigenous Peoples Day. Most people know it as Columbus Day, but I think Columbus is a murdering fucktard. Indigenous Peoples Day is a reflection of your principled view towards recognizing the plight of indigenous people in this country. You want a candidate that seeks to fix the fundamental issues with the United States, starting with the Constitution. You refuse to participate in the two-party system. This is true of all the third-party candidates. And you want true equality in America. Similarly to the Green Party, you want to recognize all those that are not white landowning men and begin to work to fix that. Now, who might you be if you're voting here? You could be literally anybody. You could be a member of the DSA who's not going to follow who the DSA has endorsed. You might be a member of the Greens who won't vote there, a libertarian who won't vote for Joe Jorgensen, Democrat that doesn't want to vote for Biden, maybe a Trump or a Republican that doesn't want to vote for Trump. Generally, you just are seeking an independent voice. Now, the thing I want to focus on is protest voting, because that's the key thing to keep in mind here. This election is going to be filled with protest votes. This election and how the Electoral College moves will be filled with protest votes. They are going to really weigh heavily on the top two names on the ticket. They could easily take votes away from them. They could easily split votes. They could easily take electoral votes. When I say take votes, understand that. And that's really important to remember. So here's different protest votes you could get. You could protest vote for Joe Biden And really, the only reason that you're going to protest vote for Joe Biden is because you want to save this democracy. You recognize that Donald Trump is a fascist. You recognize that he's an authoritarian. You recognize that he panders to dictators. You recognize that he has absolutely no value for the American political system. He has no care in the world for how, the checks and balances in this country. He's seeking to only work for himself and not you. So you are going to protest vote for Joe Biden. You're going to hold your nose and you're going to probably barf after you get done doing it. And you're only going to do it to try and get back to the normal that we all hate, at least all of us leftists. And I'm not gonna rake you through the coals for that one. That's a valid thing. I know a bunch of friends who are in high risk categories, we'll say, that are going to vote for Biden just to try and get Trump out of there. Now, there are also protest voters that will vote for Donald Trump. And this is going to sound really weird. There are people who are in the anarchist category that will vote for Donald Trump. And the reason they will vote for him is to accelerate the dissolution of the United States government. They recognize that another 4 years of Donald Trump and the U.S. government will pretty much be decimated. Washington, D.C. will probably be some smoking hole in the ground. And they will be able to move it much more rapidly towards what they seek, which is a stateless society. These people are typically called accelerationists, and this is how they see to go. This is their acceleration, the way to accelerate the dissolution of the United States government. That's what they're going to do. I don't really like this category because this opens a lot of bad windows. This could open some things that we don't want to be involved in. Now, there are some people that are going to protest vote for Joe Jorgensen to build up the Libertarian Party. There's people that will vote for Howie Hawkins to build up the Green Party. Why are they going to do that? The main reason is because what's pushing them and what they care about is building one of these two major third parties up. They want to boost them. They want to get them to 5% in national. And the reason they want the 5% is because they are going to receive federal funding during the elections, helps them get into the debates. It really opens a lot of doors for their candidates. It boosts their party throughout all the states because what they do in polling gets them different party statuses in the states they're in and gets them guaranteed ballot access. These people are not voting for the candidate. I know a lot of people in the Libertarian Party that don't like Joe. They absolutely despise her. And I know people in the Green Party that despise Howie Hawkins. They are only doing it because they care about building their party. And I respect that. I generally respect that. That is a valid thing. I'm going to be working with a third party myself. And though we don't have anything in this game for 2020, I'll probably be doing that down the road where I put that party's interest of building up ahead of it, because that's the only way we break the two-party system. In the end, any leftist that watches this podcast, we all have one common goal. We want to get rid of the chokehold the duopoly has on the United States politics. So vote. I've said it a million times. Voting is not the end-all, be-all, and it's not going to affect immediate change. But voting will at least be a part of how you can achieve change in the United States, and we can begin to move towards a true leftist society, a society that recognizes humanity-driven politics, recognizes the environment, and does eventually focus on the worker, the people. Thanks for watching Podquest of Bread. Stay beautiful, humans.